just blow your mind. Talking absolute DC and leaving everything else behind. Sayako, it's the Weird Science DC Comics Absolute DC show. It's the Weird Science DC Comics Absolute DC show. So let's go.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Weird Science Absolute DC Comics podcast and YouTube show, where we are recording live for an audience of one. It's you, Gray. You are the audience of one in the old chat. I just put up the deal of doing it live. We haven't had a live show for the Absolute Stuff in a couple weeks, so maybe people think that we have quit, but we have not. But here we are. What's up, Gray?
How's it going, love? You all right?
Hello, love.
Jim, dare I ask?
I'm not Genki.
Why not?
I'm telling you, we have one person in the chat. It's you. So when we get word of the chat, I'll just be talking to you as well. So I'm going to lower that. But in the whole deal, we're going to do two books this week. We're going to do a book that came out on a print last week, but digitally this week, which is Wonder Woman. And then we'll do Superman. That came out this week. We're going to get right into it with Absolute Wonder Woman number 11. It's part 4 of 5 of As My Mother Made Me, written by Kelly Thompson, art by Hayden Sherman. You have colors by Jordi Belair, letters Becca Carey, Ash Padilla, assistant editor Chris Conroy. And I think that I'm either getting used to Hayden Sherman's art or he's getting better, because I think the art's pretty good in this issue. I think it's pretty good overall. I like the panel layouts. I like what he's doing, and it isn't changing anything. But I think that he's kind of coming, again, maybe it's us getting used to it. The eyes are still crazy, but they kind of fit, and maybe it's because
I'm trying to get used to Io's face, Jim.
Yeah,
it's very masculine at times. There's nothing wrong with that, a masculine lady.
No, nothing wrong with that. A handsome lady, a handsome Themyscirian. But yeah, when you go into this, maybe it is the idea that some of the art before was kind of decent when it was just Wonder Woman. And you're in a labyrinth and things like that. But maybe when we get out, because when they do go out, Steve looks a little odd too. But we'll see as it progresses. But I think that he's stepped it up, and I think he's getting a little more used to it, and we're getting used
I've missed
to him.
Steve.
Yeah, Steve's there. So what we have in this issue is Diana, and I forgot because it's been a bit. We ended up having that delay. We also had an annuals week, so it's been a couple more weeks than usual, I think. But we end up where Wonder Woman was thrown into that well, into that pit with the doctor. That doctor seems to be like nothing of nothing. You end up where Wonder Woman is affected. They have these flowers down there, very Wizard of Oz-esque in my mind, where she doesn't know if she's just high as shit, or is she, because she says, I use my magic, but I don't know if I can use it because I'm kind of garbling my words and things like that. But maybe I just think I am. Maybe that's just how I'm perceiving it. So let me try. And she ends up doing this spell, falls in, and then you just see this character come up out of these flowers. But you don't really know exactly what that was. So then with that spell and with whatever thing's going on, because we find out this is Io, who comes out and then says, and things make sense by the end, she says to this doctor, run over there near the entrance and yell bloody murder. Yell like you're being eaten. And he goes, oh my God, help me. And she's like, that's great. That's what we need to do. We find out later that is a dupe that Io and these people use to keep Clea from knowing what the real play is going on, which I will tell you later reminds me of Running Man. And I don't know why anybody would even know what I'm talking about, but I'll explain it in a little bit.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Yeah, exactly. And the idea of having that crazy, like Dweezil Zappa and Mick Fleetwood when they were underneath running like that little commune in the actual like maze pit type thing. That's what it reminds me of.
I just know that Mick Fleetwood's really upset because they'd taken away his music.
Yeah, they took away his music, and Dweezil's just like, I just like to play guitar. But yeah, so they go out and Wonder Woman sees this entity, this thing kind of come up out of these flowers and says, I see you. And that ends up being something that comes in later as well that works out, though it is a little confusing at one point, a little bit of, not straightforward, but okay. But you end up where we find out that indeed that was Io, who did come and grab Wonder Woman and takes him out, because when people get thrown down into this well/pit, they're supposed to be eaten by a monster, but they have taken care of the monster quite a long while ago. But they do this like little charade so that Clea thinks that it's still going on. In the meantime, we do go to the before Wonder Woman talking to gods, and it's okay. I mean, at this point, I've said I'm sick of the Superman going back to Krypton or Krypton. I still like seeing little Wonder Woman, but overall, it just continues the same deal, and the idea that she is different. And the reason why they like her, and even played the idea of, well, she's just a little girl, why do you hurt her, and all these things before that you had Cersei say. And it was because of the idea she is compassionate, and her enemies will never see that coming. You see it kind of with Clea, but this whole play of her learning to be different and to actually play out in almost feels like a fable within the book of there's Wonder Woman, and she ends up going to defeat this Hydra. It's part of this trial, but when she goes in, she's supposed to pick the right weapon, and what she ended up doing is pick a giant, battle axe, and it was to bargain with the Hydra. And it's kind of cool. And I like this, where she's like, okay, and hey, do what you're supposed to do. Go and throw this into the Hydra. Can I throw it as hard as I want? Like, well, not that hard. And she's so excited. And she's so cute when she's little Diana. But she ends up going and says, now bring it back to me. No magic. And she's like, okay, well, I'll go. And she takes that big battle axe that you think she's going in to fight the Hydra. But instead, she makes a bargain, and it's a neat play. And it's like, oh, you little scamp, you'll always end up, confusing me, and that's a good thing. She let her
keep the axe, didn't he? Well, the Hydra keep the axe until she brings back this precious stone.
Yep, brings back the stone. So when she went in,
so cute. You mean it? And you said like you like seeing these flashbacks. I do too, because of the setting. I love this, like the Wild Isle of Hell. It's very cool.
Yeah, and it shows, and we'll see a bit where the idea that Wonder Woman made hell a nice place. It's kind of an Amazonian thing that we'll see even with Io. But when you end up where she comes back up and says, here's the bauble, here's the thing, and like, okay, well done, princess, maybe you are a bit like me, because again, hey, you went and killed the Hydra and got it back. And she's like, oh no, I have to get going. She's like, where are you going? Like, oh, I got to give this back to the Hydra. I made the bargain. She got to keep. It's almost like keeping that as collateral. I'll go and I'll show this, then I'll just bring it back to you. And it's pretty good. And she's like, oh, you little scamp. But it's nice. And it shows Diana is compassionate. She's not going to kill a Hydra. And you kind of knew that. And you know that she's not going to die because.
And she's clever. She's smart enough to make that, that kind of bargain, that deal. So, yeah.
Yeah, I like that. And I don't think that it's fully necessary anymore, but it's nice when you go back and just get a reiteration of she isn't like anybody else. Like the gods are thinking they're so cool and whatnot, but she has that different angle, and the angle's always being nice and clever and cute. And
especially considering her surroundings, where she grew up.
Yeah, and Cersei being kind of her mother. So it's kind of that crazy deal with that. So when you have this going, you then, it kind of does go, because with that, I think that it's supposed to take up the space where they're walking a lot through this maze to get to this kind of commune village that they have in the middle, where you have a bunch of different people. These are all people who got thrown into that well, all these people who were lost in the labyrinth, and they were saved by Io, who brought them here. And again, like I said, when you have hell and you had Diana sleeping in her little bed, and then all of a sudden the monsters that were supposed to kill her, they became almost like plushies, and suddenly you see Cersei's, making things look nicer and everything's nice. I like the idea that another Amazon, Io, has made this commune in the middle of this, pretty much a death maze. And they're all there, including the Cyclops there. It looks really sus. I don't know what that Cyclops is doing, but I think they're playing like 3-card money and stealing money from people. I wouldn't trust a Cyclops. But they go in and like, here we have this.
Io's tattoos.
It's cool.
Got like a labyrinth.
Yeah, she has that
body,
labyrinth.
It's well cool.
Yeah. So, and even Diana, when she sees it, says, I get it. You're pretty clever. You tattooed the entire maze so that you would know the maze. It's tattooed on you. And it just shows that she's been there forever as well. And then she says, when they're going through this and saying, hey, everybody is there and we're trying to get out of here. We're actually trying to free ourselves by digging tunnels. And Diana goes like, oh, what's that all about? And they go and show, and like, this is the tunnel here that we're digging now, but some of them are bad attempts. And it goes through, like, some of them collapse. Some of them end up where we go into rock that I can't even break or metal. And it leads to her saying there was one with water.
Yeah, we
And
hit seawater one time.
yeah,
And
and
she's
then
like, oh, show me that one, Io.
yeah, show me that one. And the thing is that she says, even as it's going on and starts thinking about it, because Io says we have to keep patching it up. It keeps kind of coming through. She realizes that Io could leave. If it's seawater, you could just swim out. You could just break this open. What do you care if the labyrinth floods? You're going to get out. But the thing is, nobody else would be able to. She would end up killing everybody else, and so she stays. So she stayed decades in here just because the others wouldn't be able to escape. And she's actually, maintained her being a prisoner just for that. And Diana says, like, yeah, that's what being an Amazon is. And I'm so glad. And it makes me proud to be an Amazon that Io did that. And it's nice. Again, all this issue is nice. You end up having the little Diana part, Io trying to get out. You do get like a little play of like, okay, well, we're going to get out of here, go here. It's kind of I don't know. It doesn't really play out as that exciting to me when you're like, okay, well, there's the water one, but do you have another place to go out? Yeah, we can go into the well. Well, when you go into the well, go to this wall, and at that wall, and she's pointing at her tattoos, then go here because there's a door and break this bobble. I'm like, yeah, okay. Okay, because we did free that siren.
You got the map tattooed on your
Yeah,
body.
you know
Look,
what I mean?
It says exit here.
Yeah,
in big
yeah.
letters. No, it doesn't really. But
Yeah, and well, then
that'd be funny.
Io says, well, that's a dead end. There's nothing there. Oh, no, I have magic there to get out. And she's like, oh, magic. And that's kind of the catch up where Wonder Woman says, oh, yeah, my mom, Cersei went. She's like, Cersei, Jesus Christ, I've been around. I've been gone for a long time. But even when she sees Diana and Diana wakes up and whatnot, she says, oh, my God. You're Diana. When Diana says, I'm Diana from Themyscira, I'm an Amazon. And Io goes, oh my God, you're the daughter that Hippolyta ended up dreaming, that we all dreamt of. You're actually real. And it does seem like Io's starting to remember some things once she sees Diana and starts talking to her. And Diana's all excited and says, yeah, I'm trying to find you guys. I'm trying to find the Amazons. You end up where Io doesn't even really know that the Amazons are gone or whatnot. She just ended up where they were in a fight, and she ended up, seemingly dying and ended up in this labyrinth. And then
she's asking Diana, like, why have you never met an Amazon? She can't believe it when she says that, can she? And also Diana's like so happy to finally meet one of her sisters.
Yeah, because she said, I finally found
my favorite moment in the book.
Yeah, and she said, I finally found a sister. What do you mean, finally found? There's tons of us, and there isn't right now. So when Io went away, and then she says at one point, she was in this labyrinth, and then it was discovered by humanity. Like the idea that she was just down there by herself with whatever, and then it was discovered. She goes, that didn't make it better. Now Clea's in there making it a hellhole and all this stuff. Where,
how did she get down there in the first place?
Well, she ended up
just remember
getting killed and ended up waking up in it. That she said it's almost like how they ended up where a lot of times going in the Well of Souls and ended up on Themyscira. So she ended up there and just doesn't really know what was going on. But in that, she can't escape because she doesn't want to leave these other people behind. But Diana says, we can save them all. Go to that place, go out. My friends will help you there. Don't worry about me. I'm going to save Ferdinand. I'm going to have to make some magic to heal him. Me and Ferdinand will escape. We'll meet up with you. But if I don't, know that, tell Hippolyta, my mom, all those, that I'm proud of all of you, that I love you. Io kind of says the same thing to her. But it's crazy. And again, Diana
knows.
Wordy,
doesn't it, Jim?
Yeah, it does.
It gets very
It
wordy.
does. And there's not a ton of action. So it's real wordy. But, she does say, again, with Io there for decades when she could have just escaped years and years ago, she realized she's a good person. And that's why she wants to help and save everyone. But it gets a little wonky by the end, again, because that entity that she saw, she realizes she's going to need that thing's help. They end up in that crazy well again with the
forgot
flowers.
What that was. I wasn't sure what that was at the end there. I was like, hang on a minute.
Because
this,
it was that
ectoplasmic thing.
Yeah, she saw that, and now she's going to go and like, hey, I'm going to do this magic. I'm going to go get Ferdinand. But also this ectoplasmic thing comes and says, I'm incomplete and cannot aid you. And says, well, what if I complete you? I can complete you. Then we might have something, Diana of the Wild Isle. Yeah, and says, do you know the truth of me? I believe I do. Pay attention to Slap and Fast, but, I don't know. what the truth is, but they're going to go and save Ferdinand and then use this whole deal against Clea, who's pissed off. And Clea ends up like, do you know
I'm glad
who
they've
I
not
am?
forgotten Ferdinand, by the way, because he's a cool character.
Yeah,
isn't he?
yeah.
We get enough of him.
And
in
he's
this.
and he's there chained up, and she ends
chained
up
up.
throws that bauble at him. It breaks and frees him, but also heals him so that he can say, he says, "Man, I feel real strong. I want to slice and dice." Clea's coming at Diana with that like trident type deal that has a bit of ectoplasm, it seems, in it. It's very odd.
It's weird. It's almost like
You know
an
what I
Aquaman
mean?
weapon.
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it?
And I don't get the full connection and exactly what's going
No, I
on with
don't.
that deal, but she's trying to get Clea to attack her with this thing so that she can get it and use it, it seems, to make the complete connection with that ectoplasm deal. And at the one point, you know, Clea runs her right through. And there's mention of, hey, I've been here since 1939. Or actually, that's the next deal with, I'm getting them mixed up with Brainiac.
Clea
but
knocks
yeah.
Wonder Woman like absolutely flying.
Yeah.
Smack.
And then
I
that's
may have
the thing,
underestimated her strength.
Yeah, exactly.
I
and
think so.
the thing is, too, she wants to get that weapon, so it's almost like, well, stab me with it, and then I have it. But that's where we then
Come on,
go
then,
up.
stab me. Oh
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
he did.
Yeah, and she's like, oh no, and this Clea wants the siren. And then you go up and see where the siren is. Again, we know it's a siren, so when they put her in water, and like, oh my God, and they just, it's that dialogue. It's a Kelly Thompson thing of like that almost Bendis-y. Hey, what's going on? What's going on? We put her in the water. You think she's okay? I hope that we're not going to get in trouble. Hey, I think she's okay. Oh my God, look at her. And it's nothing going on, really. They put
Look
the
at
siren
her
in the
face.
water.
What's happened?
Yeah, and that's the thing. In my mind, we know she's a siren. That's what they look
we
like
know that.
when the deal is, but they had no idea. Remember, at one point, they're like, do you think that might be Diana? Like, I don't think so. But they're like, oh, God, look at her face. Well, she's a siren, which probably will end up making Steve want to, like, go and smooch with her or something, the way that it works out. But I don't know what the siren
You saying Steve's a bit sus, Jim?
Well, I'm saying that the siren, if it's going to use a siren deal, it's going to probably try to lure the man in. But again, this siren, though,
Start singing.
doesn't seem like they were bad. They were just a prisoner of Clea. She was with Ferdinand, so I'm sure that, you know, again, I don't sit there and say, oh my God, what's she going to do? Because she seemed on the up and up, and she was with there and saved by Diana. So I just think she looks crazy because she's a siren and they put her in water. So she's kind of herself.
I got confused at one point. I thought this was Diana to begin with. Like, wait a minute, Diana's got turned into like a freaky siren.
Yeah,
oh, no.
It's
the girl.
Yeah,
the
it's
girl
the
they
siren
rescued.
girl that they rescued. So Clea wants the siren for whatever.
For whatever
And
reason.
that's where Diana rips this crazy kind of trident out and then says, you know, despite your behavior, I have something great to offer you if you'll only hear me out. And again, it's playing in with that idea of her having with the Hydra. Hey, I made a bargain. It's this
She's
bargain.
got the power of bargain.
Yeah, but
Bargain
this
is a
bargain
weapon.
is a little less of a bargain. She's just like, I'm going to get this thing and I'm going to, you know, destroy you. But she throws this, and that's where Clea seems to understand what's going on. And then I'm like, okay, is this ectoplasm thing, is that the ghost of the monster they killed that was down in there that we don't even know what it was? Or is it something else that came? But the idea that it kind of becomes one with Diana when she throws the sword or the whatever this thing would be called, throws it down there, it
Clea's
completes
reaction's like,
it.
no.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm like,
She's freaking out, isn't she?
she's freaking out, but then she says, I can just have my guys go get my weapon. Like, she's freaking out about the weapon, but then
Yeah,
it
that's what
ends
she's
up where
thinking
this
about.
deal and says, here goes everything, and says, oh, Clea, you're going to get it back, and I'm going to attack you, and ends up with what looks like a water trident, really a trident now, that wraps around her hand, and she says, you're getting it back, just not as you imagine. So again, maybe the whole play is that weapon has part of that entity that was down there, and it's how she was trying to control it, but it's not. But it really wasn't set up very well in my mind. So
No,
we'll
it
have to
wasn't.
see.
I'm confused
Yeah,
about
we'll
this
have to
entity. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, we'll have to see if it gets explained more, and we end up what is happening there. But when we end up at the end, I still like it, and I like the stuff with
I still
Io. I
really
like,
enjoyed
yeah,
it,
I
yeah.
like Wonder Woman finding an Amazon and getting that little piece of the puzzle moving forward with that. I kind of want her to use her lassos a little more. She just always has them, but except when she was lassoing around that 4-killer, whatever the frick that thing was called. But she's not really using much of that. But I think the art is a lot better. And even like that last page, doesn't even look like the Hayden Sherman art and a lot of the other things. It looks really, really cool. It looks like a
It's
cover,
awesome
right?
last page,
Yeah, it
isn't
looks
Look at
really,
that.
really good. And so I'm hoping that he kind of got inspired when, and I wish I remembered that fill-in artist that really kicked ass. He's like, I better start doing better work. But I think he's just easing into it and he's getting used to the characters and whatnot. So, because I like it, I think it looks good. What would you give this?
I really enjoyed it. Say, as you say, the art has really improved. I like the way that Kelly Thompson's writing Diana, even though it got a little bit wordy at times. It's a strong
Yeah.
8 out of 10 for me, Jim.
Yeah, I'm gonna go an 8 out of 10 as well. But it is wordy. It is a little bit
Only
of a,
some parts.
it's not a
Yeah.
it gets to almost being a slog, but I like what they're talking about. But some of the bit is like, oh, here we're gonna go to some tunnels. Hey, we're doing, and maybe deal more with what is going on with that entity, what's going on with
Yeah,
the
that's what I
magic
want a
and
little bit
stuff
more
like
of.
that.
That did leave me a bit kind of scratching my head. But hey, it's a mystery. It's a mystery, so I'm sure we'll learn more next issue.
Yeah, yeah. Brandon says that the dialogue sounds like Gabe when he uses AI to use big words in his reviews.
Ooh, shots fired.
Speaking of AI, we're going to go to the next book. And there is plenty of Brainiac AI in the next one. I'm going to lean on you because you said you really liked this issue. I did too. But I'll let you talk a little more. This is more of your book now. But this is Absolute Superman number 11. It is the finale of Man of Steel, Mind of Ash, Superman, Son of the Demon. There's a lot of titles in this. It's Jason Aaron writing, Carmine D.G. DeMonico on art, Ulysses Areola on colors, Becky Carey on letters, Ash Padilla on assistant editor, and Chris Conroy on editor. Do you think if you were Ash Padilla, you'd be like, what the hell, is he throwing shit at me with this title? Mind of Ash? What the hell's going on, Ash Padilla?
Maybe it's a compliment.
Maybe. But in all of this, we've wanted more Superman. It's not like we're going to get a ton of the deal, but in this ramps it up. And boy, the idea of Superman being captured by Ra's al Ghul and Talia and being tortured by Brainiac and a bunch of Brainiacs as well, to the point where they want to kind of groom Superman into being a murderer. And they said it didn't really work well with Peacemaker because he just went a little too far and whatnot. But with Superman, they have to get him to a point where he thinks it's good to kill people. They got to get to a point where they convince him that to save the planet, you're going to have to pretty much purge it and destroy it. And what I do like about it, before I let you take over, is the idea that it does go back to being a very Ra's al Ghul thing. The idea that he thinks there's too many people, the idea that he thinks that things need to be purged, very much, like an endgame thing, even with Thanos and snapping, has always been Ra's al Ghul thinks, has all those opinions all the time. And I thought that was a good play. While it does seem like a Batman thing, it's more of an absolute world thing. And I do like that. But it is pretty crazy. And the last thing I'm going to tell you is there are little bits of this that end up where we were really upset at Absolute Batman for giving us dupes, but there's a lot of dupes at points in this because of this AI and this training they're trying to give them. And I'm not even sure at the end it's not a dupe, but you go with it because they are using this like AI type deal to make him think, hey, look what happened on Krypton. And destroy everybody.
Torture, isn't it? The whole way through it, they keep showing him these glimpses of, maybe it's happening, maybe it isn't. You see his parents on Krypton being tortured. They're trying to just basically provoke him, aren't they? They're trying to trigger Kal-El, Jim, make him into a killer, a killing machine.
And the thing is,
it's not working.
And if you make somebody kill people, destroy a planet 7,000 times, eventually you're going to desensitize to it and just start doing it. That's the big thing. I think they're trying to but also blur the lines between what is real and what isn't. So when he comes out of this, he just goes around killing people, which is pretty crazy, right? But at the beginning,
that's the plan, all the way through, yeah.
And at the beginning, when the Science Council is going after his parent, we know obviously that this isn't happening because it's in the past and the idea of all that play. But instead, it's still trying to. It's almost like when we didn't get the Kents. We ended up, because he was on Krypton a little too long or whatnot, we now have where it's going to be Brainiac through all this training. He's trying to teach him, his lessons, and the lessons would be bad. I actually thought that at one point we were going to see more of Ma and Pa Kent, kind of like, the little lessons they did teach him was what saved him. But it's just because Superman's a good guy, right? But you go from there because Ra's comes in and basically starts throwing shade at all the Brainiacs. It's pretty funny.
The race in this is insane, isn't he? He's like he's almost too powerful to me. The control he's got over Brainiac. Because what do you think about that? I think like Brainiac would be supposedly more powerful. I've forgotten what the hold is he's got on Brainiac.
Yeah, yeah. And with all of that, Brainiac just seems like he's afraid of that father box. He doesn't want any parts of it. He keeps,
Okay,
Ra's,
that's it. Yeah, the father
and
box.
Ra's
But
keeps saying, yeah, we're going to kind of, dangle it in front of you that we'll end up doing it. And he's like, don't let me get near that. He even begs Talia, please, to keep that away.
as he's begging her, look at his eyes. He looks so
Oh my God.
like, I'm gonna get my revenge on you eventually, isn't he? Look
Yeah.
at him.
Oh, yeah. He's crazed up. But when he says it too, he's like, please don't let him get that father box. Please don't get him. And then you have Raish is like, come, daughter, leave that psychopath working.
I know.
Like, holy crap.
And the Talia, Jim, the Talia in this, like, what do you think of her? She's like ruthless, isn't she?
Yeah.
She's a complete badass. I mean, I know she duped everybody.
Yeah.
The whole, like,
And
switch
again,
thing, but
it's weird when
I don't like her, man. I don't like her in this at
Well,
all.
Brainiac going to her kind of makes it seem like he knows that she's kind of the weak little link here, that he might be able to convince her to at least help him out. But, there's Ration, and you don't get much, but I'm waiting for that idea for Talia to be like, hey, Daddy, I really worked that out, right? I really did good. And you shut your mouth, you jerk. And I'm like, I kind of get that play that she's going to eventually kind of realize that her dad's kind of a dick. But right now she thinks he's a god. I mean, she was saying that
God,
even
yeah,
as an
yeah.
Omega Man. So with all that, though, this phase of this, they go through the phase and they go, hey, where is he at? Well, he's killed his home planet, the Science Council. This is the thing that I think that there is a play here that may be like a subtle deal, maybe, but maybe not. The idea that Brainiac says, I know everything about you. And I've scanned your memories. I know this, so I know how to set up this torture. I know how to set up this conditioning. It's like Clockwork Orange. You might as well have him sitting there with a bunch of
that's
TVs,
it. That
right?
reminded me of that, didn't it?
Yeah,
basically
so-
brainwashing the
They're
torture, but
brainwashing.
He's got his eyes closed, not like
Yeah.
ripped open.
No, and they have kryptonite bond. They're really making it so that he's weak. They're doing all this, but Brainiac says, I know everything about you. I know more about you than you know. I know all your memories. And it's so obvious to me in this because they're trying to make him Brainiac. The next phase is in his mind, he has to kill Brainiac. In his mind, he has to revolt against this, break out and kill Brainiac, and that'll be the next phase. But in the meantime, Cal won't do it. They keep showing it. And there's where the dupe is. At one point, you think you see him escape. You think you see him get out, but instead
that
it's
was really
all
good.
in the
I enjoyed
AI.
that.
And that plays out well. Unlike the Batman deal that we're like, oh my God, that's crazy. That
He's
felt like a
beaten Batman
dupe.
to death.
Yeah,
He's
and-
dead. Oh, wait a minute. It was all just a what if.
Yeah,
What?
and that was
At
like,
the end.
but this is part of the thing that they're doing. So it works and it's set up. And once you see what's going on, you're like, okay, I get it. But what Brainiac doesn't get when he's saying this is, why can't he realize that what triggers Cal is family or friends? When he's there and he destroys the Science Council and all of Krypton, it's because they are executing his parents,
Yeah.
talking shade at his parents, and also going to hang his parents. And they even say in Kendra,
So
we're going to
Brainiac's
hang
pretty
you up.
smart, but he's not smart
No,
enough, is he,
and
eh?
so
Thank goodness.
eventually he gets there because
He gets there in the
but
end,
but
yeah.
in this I'm like, don't you get it? Because when it comes to saving himself, Cal is not going to kill anybody. He's not going to kill anybody to save himself because that's not important. It's family and all that that's important. He finally does get it when they do in the deal kind of go with the, hey, we're going to head off to Smallville in here and pretend that we're killing Mom and Pa Kent. But again, it ends up where it's crazy. So when they're doing this, in the meantime, Talia goes off to pretty much beat the shit out of Lois. That seems like a daily thing,
That's
right?
like her hobby, isn't it?
It
It's
is.
it's a daily workout.
Yeah.
Kicking Lois and Jimmy.
And I love that she goes and she just kicks Jimmy. He just goes down, and then Lois is like, you're going to have to cut. Like, basically, Lois is like, I don't care what you say. You're going to have to come and kill us 8 million times. Jimmy's like, I'm not with her. I don't want that. But
She doesn't speak for both of us.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Then Jimmy gets diarrhea later. He's a wreck. He's me. But you have Talia who goes and, again, if you want to go with me making up things in my head or layers of it, is Talia goes and you end up having Lois say, well, you come in here all the time. Prime is still going with that and pretty much using that as a diss because that was her dupe. But you come in our cell every hour just to kick us around. It's funny that she leaves her dad and then goes and beats the shit out of them, which I do think that's very much what she's doing. She gets frustrated that her dad is not giving her what she wants or whatever the whole play is. Even if it is, I mean, there might be a thing as an Omega Man, some of that shit that Jimmy it wore off on her and she realizes that she's on the wrong side. So she goes and beats the shit out of him to like work out some frustration. There has to be a reason that she goes and beats the shit out of him because she doesn't want to kill him. Because lo and behold, the final thing for Superman to become the son of, the demon is to go and kill Jimmy and Lois. That would be it seems the last thing going, and that would be for real. And then they would say, hey, look, everything else might have been a dupe, but you just killed 2 people. Now you're with us.
We got him to kill his friends. Yeah.
Now you're with us.
Now we have him.
Even if it became an idea that he did that thinking it's a simulation, and then you reveal, hey, look, you're a murderer. What are you going to do now? You might as well join us. You're a murderer. Let's go. But yeah, so Talia, and it's not like Talia has to loosen them up a bit. If Superman comes in here, they're dead. I mean, if he comes in, wanting to kill them, they're not going to be able to fight back. So she's not like, hey, I got to get him weak or whatever. I think she's working on her frustrations because she's upset at what she's doing.
Chat. Comic Boom Rocky is saying he's looking forward to the inevitable Lois versus Talia rematch.
Yeah.
Bring it on.
That would be pretty good. Now, what we need to do is get Catwoman in here. And Tom King write a one-shot where Catwoman comes in, picks up a sword for the first time and defeats Talia, then takes down 3 Flashes in the meantime. But
Catwoman and not Harvey? No, sorry, I'm gonna go.
Yeah.
Not Harley Quinn,
and
her doing it.
I see Matt Fisher with a super chat says, I've returned. Both of these books were great. Hello, Crockett and Tubbs. Play that song. So we end up and thank you, Matt. And I'm great to see.
Which one's which, Jim?
I have not. I think you're, I'm sure that if Eric was here, he'd say I'm Tubbs just to kind of make a fat joke and I'd smack him because I'm not. But the idea, I'm glad a bunch of people, I want to tell Rocky, a bunch of people have asked, hey, what's up with Rocky? We haven't seen him in a while. And I said, I haven't heard from him in a bit, but I know he was really, really busy, especially with the Freemason stuff that I'm not even sure we're allowed to talk about. So he's into the crazy stuff, the stonecutters.
I tell you in this issue, like everything you know is a lie.
Yeah,
it's all a lie.
But
apart from my father.
Yeah, exactly. But again, she's there for her father. But I do think that she doesn't love everything that she's doing, and she's working out some frustrations on Lois and Jimmy. There's no reason to go and beat them up. There's really no reason to take every hour to go and smack them around unless she's just frustrated or upset.
I think she enjoys it.
Well, she might. The thing is, though, I don't know. The way that Brainiac went to her, and even then, when she is there and says, hey, please, and, I'll feed your marrow to my father, the father box, whatever, she doesn't seem like she's really into it. It just seems a little odd, but she goes and beats the shit out of him. Then she starts laughing. And Jimmy's just a wreck.
I stand at my father's side as we forge a new world from the slag of the old. She said slag, Jim. Look at that.
Well, and think of this, too. Just pretend you're Talia, you're sexy ass Talia, right? Hey, Talia, you're there with your dad, right? You're doing all this stuff. You're doing great. Like, what are you trying to do about it? Like, what's going to be the end result of this? Oh, they're going to get Superman to take over. Like, she's being pushed aside because she's probably because she's a girl. And the idea, I think that there is something.
The focus on the sun.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that she might be a little frustrated with this. I think that she might be.
She's hiding it then because she convinced me that she doesn't care about
I think
anyone
that
apart
she's
from herself
probably
and her
going.
dad.
Yeah, I think that she's going with the ideas. I've done everything. I was undercover. I ended up having to deal with these people. I ended up duping them. I got Superman for you. Here he is, because remember, she was the one. She stabbed them in the back, and it's going to be her getting passed over because she's just the girl. It's always, I'm going to get my son, and he's not even blood. And you have her there, and I think that she might be a bit pissed off with this. So you do have.
She should be, she must be.
I like to think there's a reason why she's kind of doing all this other stuff or whatever. Though she is pretty sadistic, and I think she does want to pretty much beat them up. But I think she is frustrated because of all this, and she may end up at the very end. That might be the reason why she's like, aha. Down with you, Dad. I love you. You're whatever.
She's betray a father right at the end. Stab him in the back, Jim.
Seriously, would it be anything that would surprise you if Talia stabbed her dad in the back? Then not to even help Superman, but she might want to use Superman to try to do that. But You then have Cal.
She might want to use it for something else as well, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Well, again, that might be go back to the whole deal with Damien and stuff. But you end up where it looks like Cal breaks out. You have day 5, and he's like, "Oh my God, I'm going to get out of here," and goes.
I thought I thought this was real.
Yeah,
this is cool. This is good writing by Jason Aaron.
And then he's like, "Wait a minute." The weird thing is, he goes, "This is by the rays of Ra. This is not who I am." And the weird thing, I thought he was looking at. He's almost like Born Identity, looking at his hands. Like after you shoot a gun, you're like, "Oh my God, how do I know karate?" But he ends up looking. It's like, this isn't me. Why isn't that you? You just broke out of being tortured. Yes, you did choke out and crack the neck, what it seems, of Brainiac. I don't know that this isn't you. You got to get out of here. And the idea that Brainiac, and there's all those clones around and whatnot, I know that he doesn't want to kill anybody or whatnot, but still, you got to get out of here. I didn't think it was that crazy for him then to realize, wait a minute, it's like lucid dreaming. When you see that trigger of something that's not real and you're like, okay, this isn't real. And that stops the simulation. And Brainiac is pissed. Brainiac starts screaming and yelling.
Also, Superman,
what is
Jimmy,
going
tries
on?
to appeal to some of the Brainiac clones, doesn't he? You know, which we'll come into it a little bit later as well. He's like, come on, look at the way he treats you. Prisoners just like me. You deserve better. You deserve liberty.
Yeah. And says, why are you being treated like slaves? And then Brainiac flips out and starts treating them like shit. You know, hey, apologize. You shut your mouth. And who did this? Brainiac 5-7, all of this. At one point, you even have...
got one to cut its tongue out, hasn't
Yeah, that's what comes up.
Like,
but the problem I have with this is where you get these sort of things where you get caught in a loop that's... I'm starting to think by the end, we're in a simulation of a simulation, and it might be crazy, but we'll see.
It's the Matrix. It's real.
Because, again, Superman just said, oh, my God... Look at this isn't me. I would never kill anything, even a Brainiac. But then at the end kind of does. And so is that real by the end or is it not? And it's very
Is that
odd.
real? Have they got him? Have they actually managed to,
because,
even
again,
just temporarily turn
they
him,
seem to think if he does kill this Brainiac, that's the next phase. We'll move on to the next. Or is he really doing it to move on? But he just said he wouldn't do that. But this is where Brainiac then finally realizes, like, he doesn't say it. And I wish he would have said it. Like, oh, I get it. It's family that makes him do what he does. But he does seem to get it. And he's yelling at Superman. Superman's still obviously under the, in a coma in this whole setup in the AI world, in the Matrix, whatever you want to call it. And Brainiac's like, why won't you kill me? You're supposed to kill me. I am ripping you apart. You see me constantly bandsawing your head off, all these things, yet you won't kill me. And it's a really good moment of showing you how strong Superman is and how much he won't fight back.
That's it. I think that's the idea, isn't it? It's meant to be. He's that good. Thank goodness.
And what I do like too, we didn't mention it, but I'll mention it now. Saul is being contained. He's been contained. And a lot of the times throughout the series so far, it's been Saul who has stopped Superman from doing some things. Remember, at one point, Superman said, I don't want to see Peacemaker. I know where he is, but I'm not going there because if I do, I think I might kill him, and I don't want to do that. And then Saul would always be there. Well, you watch this, and was always this voice of reason, but he's not there now. But this is just pure Superman not wanting to kill and whatnot. In the meantime, they keep talking. That Saul's contained. He's contained. Why have him anywhere near? If it's me and I'm Ra's al Ghul, seems like this Lazarus Corporation has a bit of money. I'm telling you, I'm getting that Soul AI and putting it on Mars. I'm putting it under the ocean. I'm not.
Then the story, you wouldn't have that.
Well, I'm not. I'm telling you, I'm not putting it in a vial like a Bacta tank 2 feet away from the guy.
Even though he's been neutralized, by sunlight.
No, I'm not putting it
the
there.
Radiation of Krypton.
Screw that. I'm putting that.
He's right next to me, almost like, come on.
Or I would have had Brainiac just incorporated into him, but you end up where they're all there and you get day 12 now and they're talking and hey, we got to get this going. Is everything, trying to go with this thing, and then it becomes this traitor thing. We deserve liberty. You see Saul there too, and he's, who said that? Because right now it looks like you have Brainiac who's in his virtual chair here doing his stuff, and then suddenly you see one of the Brainiacs said, we deserve liberty. And who did that? It was me. I did. I said it. No, it was me. I said it. I said it. It's me, boss. It's
I'm
me.
Spartacus.
That's
No,
it.
I'm
It is. It's
Spartacus.
Spartacus deal. It's like, I see one demerit for each of you. And at one point, like you said, at one point, they're like, hey, take your tongue out and go send it to the replacement parts. But again,
he gets
in
a
this
power
part,
sword here, doesn't he? Like takes them all apart.
Yeah, he just
but I think again,
destroys
this is a
them.
plan, isn't it, to try to like provoke Cal?
Yeah, and is this an AI in the AI? It's
Is
the
it
simulation
real?
in the simulation of the simulation, and that's where it gets a little wonky. But he does end up ripping apart, and then even says, "I see what you're doing, asshole. You're subliminally, you're whispering really soft so they can hear, but they think it's subconscious. You're seeding that rebellion. You're doing this. They're going to end up being excited about you and all this stuff." And yeah, he's just ripping through these clones, which was something that seemed like Clark was upset about, or Kal-El, I should say more. But yeah, he's like, hey, I know what you're thinking. But he will progress. I promise you, no matter what, who has to die, and
No matter
he's like
who
talking
has
about
to
it.
die.
And that's where
We've got
he
like
gets
half a Brainiac clone.
Yeah,
head.
just listen. He's like talking. It's like Macbeth.
Looking up like,
He's like,
what did I do?
outspot. But so then we go to the other plot here, and again, is this real? It
I like
seems
this, dude. This is cool.
and
You
it's
get General Lane
it's
stepping
Sam
in.
Lane coming in.
Come
He's
on.
like, he goes, and I like the idea. He trained the peacemakers, so he knows what they're about. Again, you want to play an idea where I said the last issue was like Running Man. In this, you have him going, and it's almost like Arnold with that lady's head, and then when he throws it, it blows up. He goes in and he has a gun in his prosthetic legs. And ends up, because he goes in and the alarms go off, and we got to search. Oh, it must be my prosthetic legs. Oh, damn it. These things always have problems.
Just let me take them off.
But it's General Lane, so they're giving him the benefit. And then the one guy, one peacemaker's like, why were you here again? Like, there's no appointment or anything. He's, you know how it goes, son. You know how it is. And then he pulls out, things we'll do for family. And again, that's kind of
Jim.
a play of the family deal where Sam then starts blasting away. And he blasts into the cell. And I love the idea at this point. Lois goes, do you hear something? Jimmy's like, Christ for sake, I told you I have damn diarrhea. He goes, I have irritable bowels. I can't help it. I'm farting.
It's you, Jim.
Yeah. And it's like, he's like, no.
Ramen.
And she's like, no, I hear the gun play. And then General Lane comes in. And I'm telling you, this is as badass as that deal in that, was it the 1 Minute War by Jeremy Adams when Jay Garrick all of a sudden steps up and he's like Jay Garrick's superhero kicking ass like Arnold. This is how
They
it
should
was
have made
to
this
me.
a full page with General Lane coming in just looking like, come on.
Well,
badass.
here it is.
What an entrance.
This is where they misplay. And again, you might roll your eyes, but he's got prosthetic legs. He's half of a Terminator already. He should have come in and come with me if you want to live. And then they go out, but that's basically what he's doing. And he goes, come on, Lois. Who's this asshole? And then they're like, we got to take him, Dad. We got to take him. He's with us. And General Lane goes, good idea, human shield. And Jimmy goes, what
That's
the
great.
fuck?
One of the
What's
best lines
going
in the
on?
book.
Oh, it's so good. Like, no, we
Made me
can't
laugh
leave.
out loud.
Good idea, human shield. I trained you right. No. He said, Jimmy's like, no, I'm not going. What the hell are you talking about? But they're going to go out. The weird thing about this is, as this is going on, we then go back to the AI simulation where...
Wow, and it's like, wait, there's somebody else here.
Yeah.
Someone else we've got to get.
Yeah,
Like,
and it's
okay.
Superman. So we go to this deal, and this is where Brainiac realizes finally that, okay, I got to mess with family, even if it is the Kents, that we don't think he was with that long, but the play is where, and it's a really cool idea here, where by the end of this, what it's going to be is these peacemakers are going to Smallville to rip it apart and destroy the Kents, Mom and Pa Kent. Superman doesn't want that, says they don't deserve this, they weren't involved, stop it, and starts burning up everyone. And then we
You
finally
Lazarus
get...
goons, get the hell off my... Ooh, smacking it. He gets knocked, doesn't he?
And
Oh
the
my
crazy...
goodness. Jonathan!
Yeah, the crazy thing of it is that we said this book is about never having the Kents really raising Superman because he was on Krypton for long enough. It was Jor-El and Laura who ended up doing the stuff and taught him the lessons, whatever. But now Brainiac's fucking around, and he's going to use the Kents to teach the lesson of, see, son, this is what you do. People get in your way, you have to kill them. Jonathan gives him the lesson that it's okay to kill people if it's for the greater good of the planet. And I'm like, that is messed up. That is so messed up in a crazy way to kind of tell me. He says, hey, and everybody's dead. I mean, they are what this is basically, Terminator. They are walking on a field of dead bodies. And you end up where, Cal, this should have never happened. None of this. And we should have been together. Lazarus took that from us. They took you. We were wrong to tell you to run. There's no safe place anywhere, son, not unless you fight for it. He's having the Kents teach the lessons, but in the messed up way to make him a killer. And it seems to be sinking in a bit with Cal.
It's not fair, Jim. It's just not fair. He's going to get to them. He's going to get to him, isn't he, through this?
And he says, I've been trying, and Cal says, I've been trying, but everyone keeps telling me who I'm supposed to be, and no one listens to. And, we know, Cal. We see you. We see it all. So believe us when we tell you. We're so proud. They're saying they're so proud of him with, and Raish is there. I mean, he's destroyed everybody in this deal. And he says, we're so proud of you and what you've done here. Just keep doing it. And there's the lessons. When people kept saying, what is the deal?
Off. He should be able to detect that.
And the play is so crazy here that when people were upset, oh, you mean the Kents didn't teach the oh, they're being used to teach the worst things ever, and it's not real. But again, what is real and what isn't? Because while that's going on,
it's a cunning plan, Jim, and it might just work.
Yeah, and you have Lois, Jimmy, and Sam go in to save Superman. They're going to get him out of all this gizmos and gadgets and whatnot. And you end up, Jimmy, please wake up because Brainiac's attacking. And then out of a horror movie, General Lane walks in and he has Talia's knife through his head. And he's like, I can't feel my legs. I'm like, they aren't real legs, but holy crap.
Oh, God, this scene. I didn't notice that. I was looking at the legs and then I was like, holy shit.
I mean,
he's got Talia's knife.
He's
through his
lobotomized and he's just like, I can't feel anything. And he just falls over. And again, remember, Raish went to Lois the last issue or the issue before, I think it was last, and said, if you get in the way or you keep doing this bullshit, I'm going to end up, fuck your dad's legs. I'm going to just straight up murder him. I'm going to take care of him. And it looks like Talia might have done that.
Talia did it, Jim. She killed him,
She is dressed up in her Omega outfit. But in the meantime, again, could this be a simulation and a simulation and a simulation? But I think this is real. And there's a zombie freaking Sam Lane who just falls over. And she's like, I'm going to kill you, Talia. I'm going to kill you for doing this. But you also
at the same
have
time, you got Jimmy trying to wake up Cal. He's like, come on, pal, wake up.
Yeah, and that's where you have him in that simulation then being told by the Kents, it's okay to kill everybody, just as long as it, if you think it's worth it, we think you're doing great, just keep doing it. People get in your way. Don't let them tell you what not to do or what to do, but, you have to go that extra step. And he ends up where it looks like then he wakes up. And then Saul kind of gets broken out. There's just, look at that half of a Brainiac, too. It's crazy. And then there's Cal choking out Brainiac.
One of the Brainiac clones is like, he's a half body, he's crawled across the floor to release Saul, hasn't he? Save him, save
Superman. And so,
Kal-El wakes up, he's got his wrist, his hand around Brainiac's neck. He looks like he's going to kill him here, doesn't he, for sure?
Yep. And then you do have Cal crack his neck. It looks like he kills him. But in that,
we hear a crunch,
I'm telling you, does it look in the panel right before the crack that Brainiac's upset at all? He is having the time of his life.
He's got a Joker smile
again,
on
this is what he's supposed to do. And again, it might be the idea of, well, we're supposed to do a simulation. Like, you may have Raish come in after this and say, well, it was supposed to be a simulation. This is a bit messier, but it's the same thing. We did it. Or this might be the simulation still of Cal thinking he's doing this and thinking who knows? But he seems to kill Brainiac, which he said he would never do before. And that kind of got him out. But Saul ends up going with him at the point where he still kind of got his hand there. It gets a little messy, but then it looks like the whole place blows up. I'm like, I don't know what the hell happened.
It's not really clear, is it? Does he clear or not? We hear a crunch, but it's only a small crunch. He could just be breaking the neck visor or whatever. He's got, this kind of metal thing on his neck. Yeah. I don't think he kills him. It's left open, isn't it?
It's like he did. But even if he did, I don't have any problems with him killing Brainiac
I don't.
At all, especially this Brainiac. But
I think
again,
Kal-El will if he
having
does.
this whole place blow up, which kind of looks like it means like Jimmy there getting blown up, and Talia, I think it still might be a simulation by the end, but we'll have to see.
Lois.
Yeah, we'll have to see.
They're all gone if it's blown up, aren't they?
Yeah, we'll have to see.
What a cliffhanger. Flipping heck.
Rocky ended up where he says, I predict the Brainiacs will eventually be Palisade Superman and become the Kal-X's, the absolute you. I think so too. I was actually going to say that I think they might be the Kal-X deal and our Kalex, and it'd be pretty cool. That'd be a pretty cool play where he ends up taking him and kind of says, listen, you guys helped me. You guys helped and, whatever. And so I liked it. I thought this Superman was really good. I thought this issue was really good. Speaking of, there are some people who were pish-poshing it by the, rhymes with S. Because Wes, I finally got him to read it again, and he actually liked this issue, so he's on as well. So even people who were hating on it, reading it now, are
I
actually
say someone who didn't
enjoying it.
enjoy it that much. Could you guess?
Yeah, exactly.
His name rhymes with
It
Fabe.
rhymes with, and Fabe. Well, Fabe might not like it, but he's sus. He's completely sus.
He's sus.
This is really
I thought
good.
He would have loved it because I loved it, Jim. You're going to ask me for a score. I'm a 9 out of 10 for this. I absolutely love this issue. It was so well written, great art. You weren't sure what is real, what's going on. But even through it all, we get the idea that Kal-El is that good that you can still resist it. Hopefully.
Until,
I'm a 9 out of 10.
maybe. And that's the thing, and Joseph Wolf is even saying it. He said, Brainiac just trying to do what drove him insane to drive Cal to kill him. Watching Cal not break was great. And I do like the idea, too, by the end, and the specific mention of Brainiac 5, he said, which was crazy, too. You had all the Brainiacs. But in the end, it almost felt like one thing, Raish is saying, if you fail, I'm getting that father box. And if that is something that he does not want to deal with, so he'll do whatever. And so by the end, even if it is real, where usually it's a simulation, come on, we'll go. But it feels like this Brainiac got to a point of, if I have to do this in real life and just have you kill me, screw it. I'm going to do it because I need to succeed here. Because if I don't, what happens is now you get that father box, which he doesn't want at all. So that is kind of the play of he just went. It looks like he went the extra mile to mess with them, and then in the real deal, he ended up killing them. But again, it's Brainiac. You probably have backups. You have clones, so you kind of don't kill him. But it just was really, really cool. And Joseph says, made me wonder if Cal could be finding his own version of the Legion in this universe that he inspires in real time. The problem is, as the other books go, the idea that in the future of this, that Dark Legion was inspired by Darkseid because there was no Superman to inspire him. They just mention it in a bunch of the other books. And the idea where I have said before that you have mention of a team up and, getting together Wonder Woman and Batman, but you never heard about Superman. And so I wonder how that's going to play out. And if he does go dark, which would be crazy because people are sick of that dark Superman, but it kind of works better here. But in the meantime, I like him resisting it. I think it's pretty cool, but we'll have to also see what the deal is. And I thought this issue was great. I thought it was the best issue of the series pretty much so far, and I'm even higher than you guys. I see you and Brandon with your scores, but you tell people, what's your score?
Yeah, I already said it, but yeah, I loved it this much. It's 9 out of 10 for me. I think it's the best issue, probably, maybe the best of the run so
I
far.
think it's the best of the run. I think it's one of those where things are starting to finally come together and really giving you actually, when Cal doesn't kill, you actually finally, I think, for one of the first times, get the idea, okay, this is Superman. Here's Superman. Oh my God, look, because other times it was like, yeah, you had him with Sloan, you got the dust cape, and you got the ship, but you didn't really get a big thing. It was really dealing with a lot of the other characters, but I thought this is really, really good, and I'm going a 9.3. I'm going a little higher than you guys.
Ooh,
I thought it was great.
9.3
I thought it
from
was
Jim.
great. I think it might. See, that's the thing. Remember, we have that ranking. And it was always the first 3 books are my top 3 books. But I always said that Superman is a third, but it's a distance before you get to that third. I like Wonder Woman first, then Batman. And then you go a while, and then you get Superman. And that gap's closing. I think
it's
that
close for me, Jim, too.
think
all
that,
3.
yeah,
it's hard to call it now. I've got the Batman bias, so I'm probably still a little bit ahead, but I don't know after this.
And that's the funny thing. I kind of have a Wonder Woman bias of the characters in this. And so with that, though, I think Superman's right there. I think that you have almost like a 3-way tie almost at this point. But that's the thing that's good. Unlike, and I'll just mention the, Ultimate stuff over at Marvel, which I've dropped almost all of it. I still read Ultimate Spider-Man. Me and you talk about it. But at this point, we're
Ultimate X-Men.
Yeah, and Ultimate X-Men I didn't even read yet this week. That is something, too, that shows you that I don't really, I'm still starting. Because once they said it was going to be over and whatnot, but I still like it enough. And it's kind of a quirky book. But Ultimate Spider-Man I'm reading because we review it. I think that if we weren't reviewing it, I would have dropped it by now and just had, hey, tell me when something happens, when they're not doing a dinner. But yeah.
Tell me when we get Spider-Man doing some Spider-Man things in the.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Tell me when we get one stitch of Spider-Man.
Gabe's constant thing.
Yeah. But in the meantime, doing all this and whatnot, the absolute stuff, some of the books are getting better. Like, they're not drifting off for me. They're actually getting better or maintaining. Batman and Wonder Woman are maintaining, and now Superman's coming up. We just need to get Flash to do something
the whole way through.
Yeah,
I think,
yeah.
Superman. It's been solid. There's been some standout issues, like the first one we got with Brainiac, when we saw how he, what happened to him, how he was fallen. That was crazy and cool. Yeah. And this one, like, wow, this is proper Superman versus Brainiac, hero against a villain. It's just great.
Yeah, and I'm glad, because my biggest fear with the absolute stuff was I knew that I'd probably like Scott Snyder's Batman, but I was afraid that eventually I'd only be, almost like Ultimate Spider-Man, that I'd only be reading Batman. But no, I'm into the 3. And really right now it's really cool, because right now, that Absolute Martian Manhunter bullshit is on hiatus. So we don't even have to deal with that for a while. And if people wanted to know, we did review it. We reviewed, me and Simon did, on our Patreon. If you wanted to get involved in that, it's patreon.com/weirdascience. But in the meantime, we didn't even do Green Lantern this week because we had 3 books. So we'll probably add Green Lantern in next week.
Joshua was asking that. Will you do it next week with Batman, Absolute Batman?
We probably will. And Joseph said this week's issue of Green Lantern was the best. And I'm wondering if that means it's a 3. I mean, that's like the tallest person in the circus, if you don't want to be hateful.
Come on, Jim. But got to give it a chance.
We will. We'll give it a chance. And I did review the last Martian Manhunter on our Patreon with Simon, and lost my mind and got angry and started yelling about it.
Angry? Really?
And Simon, who told me and you we were foolish for not liking it, ended up not liking it either. But we'll see. Maybe when it comes back, it'll get better. And hopefully Flash will pick up a bit.
That's it. It's a shame about Flash, isn't it? Because that was one we were both excited for. And
because I love Jeff Lemire.
Not delivered. It's not delivered.
No, it hasn't at all. At that's it for this week's Absolute Stuff. But yeah, Joseph Wolf, I figured that what he was saying was it's not great, but it's getting better. But again, at least it's getting better. And talking about the Green Lantern that he's saying, that's all I need. And legit, Brandon said it is. The Flash book is moving too slow.
The irony of it moving too slow.
Yeah, I said my big joke and saying is it's going nowhere slow, because that's what it is. It's not doing anything. And speaking of Brandon, he thinks I'm real happy or whatever. This is about the happiest I've been all day. I've been in misery all day. I've been hating everything.
Jim was pouring his misery on me earlier on today.
Moly, I was. Yes, I was there. I was freaking you with that damn garbage reference again. But in the meantime, we did have a live stream early. It was an impromptu live stream where we reviewed Batman. If you want to go watch that, but we're actually going to try to do another review and talk about it for the podcast, because
we had some technical issues.
Things got messed up, but so we'll see. But that is it. So we're going to get out of here. And in fact, I might even have to apologize to Brandon, because we got to skedaddle so that I can get you to do the Batman for the podcast. So we're going to play the Gray AI song and get out. We will play the Absolute song next week. So with all of that, thanks everybody. Brandon said that Green Lantern was a 2 out of 10.
Ouch. Not read it yet. I've got to read it now.
The worst about that is that me and Brandon are pretty in tune with a lot of the books. Me and him have a lot of similar opinions with things, so I'm worried. But we'll see. We shall see. But we enjoyed the issue, and I liked Wonder Woman as well. It just was a little wordy and getting to
2 really good issues. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. So and legit, we didn't really mention the art. The art's pretty damn good. And the Superman, it gets a little hairy at points. It really gets, but it works. And I thought it was really
a bit confusing at times, wasn't it? Because it was like, what is going on with the story as well? It was a little bit confusing. But yeah, excellent art in both books, Jim. Wow.
Yeah. And to get inspired, because Fear Monarch is in the chat as well. Ryan's here, and just to throw out that if you do like songs and you don't mind them being a little sus, we do have a live stream on the Sus Records every Saturday night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time that I'll be doing tomorrow, with a bunch of songs and a bunch of fun and things like that. I actually did like 6 songs today, so a lot of new stuff. But with that, thanks everybody, and we'll talk to you later.
しました。感動して感謝しました。本当に大好きです。私は普通の男ではありません。私はもう本性の愛です。私にからかわないでください。そうしないとあなたは消えてしまいます。私は普通の男です。でも私はあなたを殺します。だからそのまま受け取ってください。足元に